So there was many different hippie communes, arising probably to a mixture of frustrations with how society was functioning and idealistic aspirations for a more heavenly human experience. Now, those communities that disconnected from capitalistic society and tried to just make ends meet within their little microcosm often ended up collapsing and not really having much success, while those who stayed connected to the larger capitalistic system were able to create some kind of a product or experience that enabled them to have some form of income and enabled them to survive. So the hippies that were able to thrive and survive and continue as communes or small scale communities were the ones who were able to adapt to the larger scale capitalistic global economy and were able to create some kind of a product. That adaptability and practicality was important. For the hippie communes that were too idealistic and were just philosophizing and talking about theories of how we could live in a better world and were not actually developing the skills or the products that were necessary to survive, those communities failed and collapsed. So within these hippie communes, we have groups of people that have to make decisions. Sometimes there would be no clear hierarchical structure. So who makes the last call on what the direction is that the group is going to move in was not clear, and you'd have huge amounts of energy and time being wasted and drained on trying to figure out what the conclusion on the decision is going to be. This could sometimes lead to smaller fractions or groups splitting up within the community, weakening the community, and creating toxicity amongst each other, and blockages and constipation in moving forward with productivity and efficiency within the group. So, as problems would invariably arise within these communes and communities, and how those problems were managed, things would get often problematic, not having a clear leader or a clear decision making process structure, and this would lead to further frustrations and further toxicity within the community, and it could kill the hope for making the community work, almost like trying to make a marriage work, but it's like a marriage amongst many people. Now I'm going to focus on the Solarpunk movement. So I think with the Solarpunk movement, we need to learn from two of the failures within the hippie community and hippie culture. The first one being about uh, how some of the hippies poorly used drugs and how that negatively affected the hippie culture and their reputation and the health of some of the hippies. And the second thing that we can learn from the failures of the hippies was their poor planning and poor organizational work that led to the failure of many of their communes. So these two failures the solarpunks need to examine, study, and learn from as to not repeat the same historical mistakes. So what is the solarpunk movement? Well, my current and limited understanding of the solarpunk movement is that it's a overarching umbrella term that draws from indigenous cultures and their wisdom and how they lived in alignment with nature and not in such a destructive relationship with nature as we may now live in relation to nature in the global capitalistic society. It draws from hippie culture as far as trying to be open to different ways of living, and it draws from the green movement, from sustainability, and from permaculture. And it envisions large scale sustainable communities or sustainable cities or super cities where we use technology and have collective responsibilities to try to make the world a better place and a healthier place that is less destructive, where humans are less destructive towards environments and animals living in those environments. Both the hippies and the solar punks embrace creative new innovations for a better way of living in the world. What I like about Solarpunk is it seems to be a new contemporary optimism to embrace technology like AI for optimizing renewable energy and for using robotics to manage agriculture and to come up with realistic solutions that fight off our idealism and actually help us to move forward with a more sustainable and practical future for humanity where our basic needs are being met and we feel more safe uh, in a peaceful and healthy world.